And we're live.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now. Just know that you are locked up to the point with
Skip.
and the kick. Right there, you guys know where to find them. SimonBroder.com, Amazon.ca. Get that book for your children, please. They're going to enjoy it. You guys know where to find me on all social media platforms at King Usaid. You guys know where to find us collectively on Instagram at To The Point, Facebook at To The Point, YouTube at To The Point, which is where you're hopefully watching us. Because if you're not, you're bootlegging and you owe us some money. My man right there, Andrew Reece, you guys should be able to know where to find him on Facebook.com, the Reece Report, which is where I go for all of my personal sports news, any sport. I just go look it up. Guys, guess what? I'm going to take a nap. Because you know what I did today?
What?
It was a boring day.
It was a boring day. Okay.
It was a boring day. I watched John Wick 3. Great movie, by the way.
There wasn't anything happening in the NBA today? Nothing?
Wait, hold on. Skip, can you let me know what happened in the NBA today? Because apparently I was having too much fun.
Well, it was a pretty sad trade deadline, to be honest. I mean, it wasn't exactly what I was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, as Raptors fans, everyone was worried about the Lowry and Norman Powell situation. And that's just an example, like Lowry not moving. That was kind of an example of the deadline just being a little weak this year. My main takeaway is just like
big time weak.
Yeah, it's just that I don't think a lot of teams got better. Like I almost think more teams got worse than got better.
Yep.
So I think like the one team I kind of think had a good deadline is I would say the Bulls. They made a couple nice moves. The most notable one is obviously the Vucevic trade. That's a pretty nice pickup for the Bulls. It's an interesting trade for the Magic. I don't really know if they got full value for him, but the trade is basically Vucevic for Wendell Carter Jr., Otto Porter's contract basically, and two first-round picks. So I think it's the Bulls are trying to take that next step, right? So for them, it's a big trade because they're bringing in an all-star. They're still going to have some defensive deficiencies, but they bring in a big man to pair with Levine, and they got their young kid Kobe White and a few other guys. They got Markkanen. So they're trying to take that next step, and I think it's probably a good deal for them. We saw, of course, the Magic are just kind of fire sailing.
They're rebuilding.
Trading everyone. Didn't really get a great value for any of them, I didn't think. But, yeah, so I think kind of the Magic, like, I don't feel great about their deadline. Even the Bulls, like, bringing Vucevic in, I'm a little worried about what it means for their defense, for their long-term upside. Like, I think it'll make them better. I don't know if it'll make them a championship contender in the next 2 to 3 years. And then so that's my big trade that I saw.
Okay, so Mr. Reece, while I was watching John Wick 3, I said that movie's dope, but I love the first two. What were you thinking while you were watching all these trades go down? What stood out to you?
I'm going to go with my most interesting trade, which was a lemon pepper for a Rondo.
The Rondo trade.
I mean, I guess the Clippers just wanted to change their flavor, or maybe they wanted to go for an ice cream flavor or something. I don't know, but
lemon pepper squares like Crabman does on My Name Is Earl. But go on.
Yeah, so the Clippers traded 2 second-rounders and Lemon Pepper Lou for Rajon Rondo, a guy they could have basically paid for and not traded anything for in the offseason, but they didn't want him. So now they trade Lemon Pepper Lou and 2 second-round picks. It screams desperation to me because they need a point guard, and they think they're gonna get playoff Rondo. It may work, it may not, but adding another injury-prone player to an already injury-prone team is a recipe for disaster. But because the Lakers have 2 significant injuries,
broke leg.
They're not guaranteed to be healthy from after. A high ankle sprain and an Achilles injury are known injuries to recur. So the Clippers think they have a chance to win the championship this year, and that's probably why they made this move. Rondo's a little better defensively, but he's past his prime, and they're just hoping that he can turn into the playoff Rondo for one more season.
Yeah, I want to jump on that because I thought that was a terrible trade.
Oh, really, Skip?
So like, yeah, they trade Rondo. They trade Lou, who's like, obviously he's a terrible defender, but he still scores, for Rondo, who's bad. Like, he's just not good anymore. Obviously, the point is we need to shore up our defense. He's going to be a point guard. He's going to be a defender. In theory, that works, but it doesn't work if it's like someone who's washed up. Like, wasn't Jeff Teague out there somewhere? Or like, I don't know, anyone else? Like, couldn't they have got in on like DeLon Wright? Wright got traded. Corey Joseph got traded for each other.
Yeah, for Corey Joseph.
I don't know why the Clippers wouldn't go for one of those guys. Like, what's so great about Rondo that he's like bounced around the league for the last 5 years and like basically been glued to the bench on a bunch of teams? I haven't been paying attention to the Hawks this year, so I don't know how he's playing. But from what I've heard, he has not impressed.
He's been playing decent.
He's been playing, but I've heard
he's been injured most of the year.
Yeah, and then you mentioned the injury prone. Like, I don't even think the injury prone is part of it. I would have traded. They traded Lou Will. They traded 2 second rounders. I would have traded maybe one of those things for Rondo, maybe max. Like, why do they have to add 2 second rounders? And even Lou Will is a better player than Rondo, straight up. So I don't get that trade at all. I think it does scream desperation, and it's what I just said at the open. Like, I think most teams got worse or are disappointed with their deadline. You look at the Sixers; they're upset because they didn't get Lowry, and they made some trades, but they didn't really upgrade their ceiling. You look at Houston; they got nothing for Oladipo. Like,
they got literally nothing.
Yeah, it was like
fucking balls.
Yeah.
And
sorry, I just wanted to say, who I think did okay was Denver. I thought Denver did okay. McGee's a nice piece. I think McGee went there, correct? McGee's a nice piece, and they got Gordon. So I think Denver did okay.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to talk about, because to me, the major trade that I saw was Aaron Gordon. To me, that was huge. Especially what Denver's been doing, especially how they've been going, and they're chasing the Utah Jazz. Forget about the Karen Lakers. I know you like that, Drew. But they've actually been working on getting further, and I think it's great. I think it's great for the game. I think we can see something out of this team, especially when I look at that team and see the players that they do have. I think it's great.
A team that shocked me that did nothing was the Lakers. That was the most shocking thing for me, is that the Lakers did nothing.
That was a little surprising, but yeah, they don't have much to do. Just on the Gordon thing, like, I do think it's a solid pickup for Denver, but maybe I've just watched too many Magic playoff games where they get roasted. But I think Aaron Gordon's one of those players who you look at him and you're like, he should be good, but is he actually good? Like, does anyone actually know if he's
that's my problem with the Vucevic move. Like, do we know that Vucevic is going to be any better on the Bulls or make them any more successful than he did in Orlando? I don't know that.
Man, both you guys are wrong on that one, and I'm gonna call you out on that, and we'll talk about this at the end of the season, because Gordon is gonna do great, Vucevic is gonna do great, but more importantly, what we gotta say is what you guys gotta say. You guys let us know. You guys know where to hit us up, especially right there on YouTube. Make sure you go down there and click subscribe, click like, let us know what you think. Please give us your comments so we can get back at you. And maybe we can roast you. Who knows? But on behalf of myself, Skip, and the one and only Mr. Andrew Reece, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, and
Peace.